Fit for You's interview with Matty O'Brien has been sponsored by Papa Francesco's Pizza, located in the heart of Sound Beach, New York. It's more than just your average pizzeria. Using the best and freshest ingredients like heart healthy oil with no trans fats and cholesterol, Papa always puts you first. For gourmet pies, heroes, dinners, and more, come on down and taste the difference.
New Year's seems to be a time of year that we work to realize the ideal version of ourselves by making changes. It's really easy to get lost in the day-to-day and allow obstacles to get in the way. Figuring out what it is that you want, realizing that you can do it, and having the motivation that it takes to make these things happen can all get lost if you don't focus on what really matters. Today's story is about Matt O'Brien. He's the lead singer of Long Island-based blues rock band Memphis. He's had his share of obstacles and roadblocks that he's faced, but his determination was able to carry him through so that he was able to realize his vision and is now doing things with this band that he never could have dreamed possible.
I guess the thing that inspired me, I don't know if it's inspiration, but influence is my mom growing up was seriously, still is into rock and roll and the blues and stuff. My father's whole family is from the South and the Midwest. They all make music. They're all super musically inclined, funky people, you know. I had a single mom that worked her ass off. She never complained about it. When a guy complains about a job or that it's snowing or anything around here, I say, hey man, my mom was like 20 years old when she had me. She raised me by herself. She worked like 3 jobs. She kicked ass. I don't hear anybody complaining about anything. You know what I'm trying to say? But being poor, growing up, is a huge motivator. It's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. I have respect for people because of it. I have a work ethic because of it. You know, and I'll bust my ass. Nothing's really hard after you grow up poor. Nothing's really hard when you're an adult because you have a choice what you can do and can't do. You can't be the victim unless you choose to be, you know? My first band ever in my life was in high school, actually. My first formal band where we practiced and got together. It's actually called Morning Wood. And we played, I think our first show was a talent show at Comstock High School, and we actually, there was a couple hundred people. It was like a benefit day every year called Night for Jason. I got in it, and then about 2 months into practicing for it, we would rehearse in the auditorium with everybody that was in it for a couple months. They decided they didn't want me in it. Teachers started protesting because I was kind of a wild kid, you know? So we had to my mom had to go to the school and get me with the superintendent back in the show because we practiced and bought equipment and everything. So I guess it was the typical, my anti-authoritarian, behavior. Well, me and my cousin Sean started the first incarnation of Memphis Crawl. So Memphis Crawl would be my first, serious, attempt at it. Me and my cousin started it. We used to play at the Crazy Donkey. We went all over the Northeast, little couple shows out west. We went all over the place. We played with a bunch of famous people, opened for them. We did super well. We had a couple record labels looking at us, and then the music business just exploded. Right now, Memphis Crawl is an independent band. We're like an indie band. We do everything ourselves. We make our own merchandise. We fund our own tours. We put out our own music. We're on Spotify, iTunes, every kind of social media you could buy a record. We've been on the radio a little bit independently, which is crazy, just from getting out there and playing and making contacts with people. We're both, heavily into the blues, and my cousin was talking about the Georgia Crawl, and it's like a dance from the 40s and the old juke joints and stuff. And I said, I don't really like Georgia, but I have a theory that all the music I like came, a lot of it from Memphis originally, blues, the punk rock. You could trace Iggy Pop back to the Doors and trace the Doors back to, Elvis Presley, you know what I mean? It's back to Memphis. So we were talking about this drinking one night, and I said, oh, how about the Memphis Crawl instead of the Georgia Crawl? And it just stuck, Back when me and my cousin Red and my cousin Sean started Memphis Crawl, we auditioned 1 million people from Good Times Magazine. Brian answered the audition, came to the warehouse that we used to rent as our studio, but he didn't really open up on the guitar. You know how Brian could play. He didn't really let it rip. A couple years after that, I was looking to do a second incarnation of the band because the first one had broken up, and my friend said he knew a guitar player, and it wound up, I went to his farm in Port Jeff, and it wound up being Brian. Mike, when we met Mike, he actually was DJing somewhere, and I said, you got to play drums with us and come down, check it out. And he goes, oh, I don't really like playing live and blah, 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 you know? So he came down with us the first jam. He's been the drummer since, and he's played everywhere on the planet with us. Me and Mike and Brian, it became like family. You know, it took us years because it's such a beautiful thing making music, but it's stressful at the same time. So you kind of get caught up sometimes in the thick of it, you know, trying to make everything go further, and it can be stressful. We were at a point where we were like family. Love it. So those guys drive me. Once they plug in and Mike plays the drums and I hear them playing, that's the drive, man.
On the go, looking for a treat? Drop into Papa's Coffee House for assorted coffee blends and desserts. Planning a big event? Plan it with Papa's Catering. Let Papa's family take care of you as you enjoy the fresh classic taste of Italy in Papa's beautiful dining room. Papa Francesco's. Come on down and taste the difference.
Starting a family is definitely another thing that probably saved my life, 100%. I met Danielle. We had our first son, Dallas, shortly after we met, within a year of meeting each other. And it definitely changed my life in the most positive way on earth. I got back into real good shape again. You know, I've been trying to be healthy because you're a father. You start thinking, I want to be here for a while, you know? So it's definitely the most positive thing that's happened to me. As far as balancing the music and following your dreams with having a wife and a partner and kids, I consider myself a musician that has children. As you get older, if you're you can play music. Some people are a dad that plays on the weekends, which is awesome. But what I'm going for personally, you have to kind of dedicate your whole entire life to it. And I think the big thing with me, why I can continue to do it with a wife and kids, it's our lifestyles. It's non-conformity. You know, she encourages me to play music. It's almost like if I go away with Mike and Brian and play music for a week, the house is quiet. She could do art without me making noise. When I had kids and stuff, I was still drinking heavily and partying, and believe it or not, I was at a Roger Waters dress rehearsal for the Wall Tour at Giant Stadium at the theater there, 500 people. And I was drinking one of those plastic beer bottles, like a Coors Light. They're terrible. I was drinking it and I handed it to my friend and I said, I'm done. My friend Joe Satiri said, why, you don't want it? I said, no, I'm done for good. I was addicted to the party. You know what I mean? The going out, the socializing, the girls, you know. I've met the best girl now after trial and error for 100 years, but, you know, I was addicted to the lifestyle. I like going out and going crazy, like Fear and Loathing. I mean, there's a million things that made me slow down. It's, your health. I've had like a million, I had kidney stones when I was 19, 25 of them for years. You know what I mean? Funny, crazy stuff. It started affecting my health though. Mentally, physically, emotionally. I mean, I would feel like shit for 3 days sometimes after I would drink and party for a couple of days, you know? We loved the Great South Bay Festival. Jim Faith has an awesome thing going on. The energy was so good this day at the Great South Bay Festival. Everybody loved each other that day. And it was crazy because it was all strangers. And I just started saying, if you go on the computer or you put on the news, that everybody hates each other and they're fighting and there's riots and this political person doesn't like that person, but don't be mean to each other, But what happened that day was everybody was loving each other, and I started saying, everybody loves each other. Everybody, and it just started a whole, everybody loves each other, and we just got crazy. The vibe in the place going back and forth was just insane. And I said, anybody who wants to come up on stage, come on up. And about 20 or 30 people just flooded the stage. And people just danced. People were shaking the maracas, the tambourines. It was awesome. It was probably my favorite moment on stage in my life. Well, we've been doing some beautiful venues. We did the Paramount a few months ago. We played New Jersey. We did the Gramercy Theater in New York City. I'm planning on going to Europe for 2 weeks after the summer with the boys. But we're going to make a record, I think, within about the next month to be out for the spring, summer tour and all the shows. We've been on 92.9 EHM. I've been getting phone calls from people, Memphis calls on 92.9, blah, blah. It's hysterical, but we're sneaking in the back door of the music business, I make my opportunities, I think, for the most part, go out and create stuff. Like I said, the enthusiasm, try to always talk to people. Try to, everywhere I go, make a friend with somebody my whole life, for the next time I come back, we're friends like we've known each other for 20 years. I've always kind of done my own thing, so that to me has been living the dream. But as far as the music, yeah, 100%. You know, I feel like the luckiest person on earth to be able to do it and continue to do it. But I think the biggest lesson that I've learned personally is if you work for what you want to do, you can, you know, you become the boss of your own destiny and do what you want to do, and there's no roadblocks, and you just stay tough and have a work ethic. If you have a little bit of talent, you can do whatever you want, man.
Thanks for watching our first video of 2017 featuring Matty O'Brien from Memphis Crawl. We appreciate all the support that we've been getting. If you see something on our page that you like, please throw us a like, share our videos, and if you know something that's inspiring, please reach out. Thank you.